bustle so big, I eat my Christmas gifts on it. Edwin Drood got so much bustle that it blows my mind. Yes, there ain't nothing like a skinny waist
and a run behind.
Oh, he used to bustle fluffer.
Come on.
I need that bustle fluffer. He used to bustle fluffer.
Today's guest is part of the wacky cast of the Broadway hit, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, and in his spare time, he's also a big old bustle fluffer. Please welcome to show people, Mr. Andy Karl.
Thanks for the Bustle Fluffer shout out.
Of course, we're definitely going to talk about bustle fluffing.
Yeah, it's Broadway.com's own.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Welcome.
Great. Thank you very much. My first time here. I'm very excited.
How is, first of all, let's get this out of the way. You are in a big hit, Mystery of Edwin Drood, critically acclaimed revival of Mystery of Edwin Drood over at Studio 54.
Not bad.
How's that going?
It's going great. I mean, it's one of those shows you get on the train and you ride it.
Yeah.
Because you have to have fun from the very get-go, because we come out into the audience, we start talking to everybody in the audience as our characters.
Yeah, you know, when I went to see it, it happened so fast, and there's so many accents and so much craziness. I feel like I was scratching I feel like I understood, okay, 33%, maybe a little more.
But you had a good time.
Oh my God, I had a great
Yeah.
time. But you're sitting there, and it's just like, it's kind of like nonstop.
Right. And if you come back
Excitement
again, you'll learn some more. And,
Okay.
you'll see something new. That's the one great thing about it, is like every night it's something new. You'll have a new murderer, a new detective, a new lover. So it gives us all an opportunity to kind of ad-lib and be as crazy as we want to.
You have the craziest eyebrows on
Yes,
Broadway.
I try to use my showbrow. I call them show. Can we copyright that? A showbrow.
Showbrow. Nice.
Because I just came up with that.
So let's talk about that. How'd you develop this amazing eyebrow action? Was it in the script?
It was it was not in the script, but they did write a line for it later on, which I'm very proud of. It's one of those things. I think you just like in high school I started. I was driving in my car and I was like, I wonder if I can raise a brow, and I'd be like, trying and sweating, like, must raise brow, and then it came all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I got that one. Now we'll try the other one, and we'll try to raise the brow. So I never knew back then that it would actually come in handy.
How essential is the eyebrow to your amazing Edwin Drood success?
I mean, what's great? What's those squigs?
Squigs, yeah.
He did this amazing caricature of the show.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and he actually captured the brow. and I was like, now he's genius, because if you capture those little moments, I guess it's pretty integral into the role now as far as what I had to offer. And so far, that Rupert Holmes wrote a joke for it when I'm up for murderer. I'm like, did I raise both eyebrows? And then one brow. So the brow that's the extent of my acting.
Yeah, so there's this audience voting. Are those votes actually counted? I think it's all
They're
made up.
actually counted. I can see them as soon as they get them
Are you
all
sure?
backstage. I swear. I had we go out in the audience and we try to vie for votes sometimes, most of the time. My parents came to see the show a couple of weeks ago, and I went up into the balcony. I would usually just stay in one section of the orchestra, but I went to the balcony, I introduced myself, I was like, and my parents are here, they're right down there. And I was like, Mother, wave! And she was waving,
awesome.
so, and she was so excited. She was hilarious when she came to see the show, because it was like one of those first shows where, she was part of the performance, so she could be almost on stage with me. So I ended up being a murderer.
It worked.
That night. It worked.
So if you really work your ass off and run all around that theater, you can make it.
Sure.
You can make it happen.
Absolutely. And some people, they don't have to work so hard because their characters are they're more dynamic, or they seem like a lesser possible choice.
Right.
But people really want that, especially in the lovers section. They want Cheetah Rivera and the 14-year-old deputy to come together and have cougar
So that
love.
happens all the time.
Basically. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
But I've also been a lover with Cheetah, so it's like, highlight of her
go?
career. It was great. She tries, she's wonderful. She tried to throw me. I was like, one of my lines is like, oh, my little lamb vindaloo. She's like, what's that? It's a rice dish. It's very delicious. And so are you. So there's ad-libbing, there's freedom. At that point in the show, it's sort of, it's a free-for-all. We're all on this big train, and we're riding this ad-libbed, wonderful break the fourth wall show that has great music and this cast is ridiculous, so it's been a joy. It's sort of an unexpected, wonderful joy. I had no idea what I was getting into when I joined Drood.
Speaking of great music, you wrote a song called Bustle Fluffing.
Word. Yeah.
You came to us with an idea. You wrote this song, you had an idea, and we made an awesome music video that's
Yeah.
blowing up on YouTube.
This is great. Yeah, all these guys in this room, actually, the guys behind the camera, were there.
Those guys.
It happened in rehearsal, where the girls were wearing these rehearsal bustles,
Yeah.
and which was like, these big strap-on things with Velcro and a big bustle on the back, and I don't know, it was like one of those things like, yeah, I want to fluff your bustle, baby. Like, it just came out, and from there, it sort of jettisoned and genesised this amazing song, and Jessie Mueller, like, she laid down this hook and sent it to me, and I was like, that's it. And from there, we just built.
Who knew
this whole
Jessie
rap.
Mueller could come up with a hook?
She's
Who
like
knew?
she can do anything if
Okay.
you ask her. It's sort of like one of those things where it's like the two of us in a room together. We're like, okay, what if we do this? Okay, we'll do that. Ding, we'll do the eyebrow, and then so it's great working with her, and it was sort of just an easy ride. And you'll see her in the video. If you haven't seen it, go see it on Broadway.com.
They're going to watch it right after
Yeah,
this if they haven't.
exactly.
But they've seen it. They've seen it.
And so we just came to I called you one day. You were on board, and I was like, is this really going to happen? So we shot it in 4 hours. Congratulations, guys.
And the entire cast was there in costume.
The cast was there with costumes, so we had crew, we had a budget, we had the stage lights, and it all happened in 4 hours.
So what did Miss Boogie Woogie say when you came into her with this idea?
Miss Boogie Miss Cheetah Bear.
Cheetah River?
Yeah,
Everybody has a hip hop nickname, Miss Boogie Woogie.
Yeah, I thought that would be great if we all had hip hop names. That's why I was like, I want to give the credits, but everybody has to write a hip hop. Hers was Miss Boogie Woogie. Again, this whole cast is so on board to do everything and to go with it.
Yeah.
And we had already had several lovers moments by then. And then I approached her. I felt like, we've basically like made love on stage. I pretty much can ask her to do the Bustle Fluffer. So.
It's kind of like Baby Got Back for the
For the
Victorian,
Victorian area.
crowd.
Yeah, it's just sort of like low down rap in bustles.
Nice.
It's kind of ridiculous. I do this for every show that I'm in. I usually end up writing a song backstage.
I should remind people that when you were in Wicked, you played Fiora in Wicked, and you did the Oz blog for
Oz
us.
blogs.
And you're the only video blogger we've had a lot who every episode there was an original song.
New song.
You just threw an original song into every episode. There was like a Les Mis spoof.
Yeah, Les Mis. There was an R&B hit. There was a commercial for Ozblog soda.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I've got a
There's a lot of crazy
nonstop
stuff
thing.
going on up there.
Like 3 a.m, kind of like, what if I did a soda called the Ozblog? And then I'll get up and I'll write it and then I'll go home. But my wife hates me.
I doubt that.
No,
I know that's not true.
I usually get her to sing a lot of these things.
Oh yeah, actually, your wife, Orfeh, Tony-nominated actress Orfeh, who we love, who was also here. She's on the demo for Bustle Fluffing.
Yeah.
That I first heard. A
Yeah,
rare
we
recording.
did like a first draft because I needed a girl to do the rap, and I was like, because we used the cast eventually, but Orfeh, laid down the demo tracks. I feel like it was, we were laying down the demo tracks, and then we went to Sony, and we recast the whole thing, got a record deal.
But you are actually a songwriter, and I know you went to like the BMI workshop. Like you've studied musical theater songwriting.
I mean, talk about being engrossed in musical theater. You can think of me as that guy. Oh, he's a musical theater guy. But really, it's sort of, I think for every actor or anybody in the industry, you should try something else to sort of get the well-rounded idea of what you do. And so I actually ran into Jeff Marks on the street one day, and I was
Tony-winning composer of Avenue Q.
Yeah, and I was talking to him, and we were just like, I was like, you're great, you're amazing. And he's like, and I said, well, I write some stuff. We had met a few times, but he's like, you know what you should do? You should go to the BMI music writing course. I was like, what? No, they'll never have me. So, but I auditioned. I had written some songs for like Princess Bride, and because I wanted to thought I was going to get the rights, but
Somebody else got the rights.
yeah. So that didn't happen, but whatever. I submitted my stuff. They had me come in. I auditioned, and then it's like a scholarship program where it's all free, but you go in and you write songs, and people in the classroom tear you to shreds and tell you how awful it is.
Was that a fun experience?
And sometimes you have a winner. No, it's a necessary experience. It's one of those things where it's like you have to go through the criticism because it's not just going to be these people in the room. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of people who come see your show and tell you how awful it is, or they tell you how great it is. So that rare occasion when you have a hit. But I had one or two songs in the class that actually we really like that. But try this. It's always something to say.
So did you have all that bubbling up creativity as a kid too? What were you like as a kid?
I must have. I think my parents tell me stories of me running down the street naked with a towel wrapped around my head as Superman. Just like, I'm Superman. They'd have to come running after me. So I had a sort of rich inner world. Actually, I'm working on something that has superheroes in it. It's called The Protagonist, and it's great. We're actually going to start another reading at the end of this month. So.
You have a lot going on.
I try because the alternative is awful, and I have been there. I've come to that point in my life. It's like you have to generate things for yourself as well,
right?
And also to be able to do things that you want to do and that you love to do, because you can't always be somebody's bitch.
Actually, that reminds me of somebody I want to talk about, Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, right? He basically wrote Rocky.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I feel like we're simpatico on that.
And you got to meet Sylvester Stallone.
Yes,
the reason why I'm bringing him up is because you did some workshops of the Rocky musical.
Yeah, we did a reading, and then we did a full-on
boxing
huge workshop where they brought in an Olympic-sized ring, and they had a jumbotron, and they did filming, the camera, and it's incredible. I haven't seen the German.
Right now, it's in Germany, right?
German staging of it, but I mean, they went full on, and I was training for boxing, and I was doing all this stuff, and it was. But when the reading happened, we were in the room, in this small room at like Lincoln Center, and I'm 5 feet away from Sylvester Stallone.
I can't imagine.
Yo, how you doing? So. That's a really funny line, because at the intermission, we had talked and stuff, but I went to the bathroom, and he's sitting there waiting, and they're like, okay, we're going to start again. So I'm running out of the bathroom and walking by him. He's like, how you doing? Audience loses it. And I go, how you doing? And I was like, yes, I have just ad-libbed comedy with frickin' Stallone. It was a highlight. There's a couple of highlights in the life.
What else did he say in his voice?
No, I was asking him, because if you watch that movie, and I watched that movie just to sort of get he wrote this thing. He took it in from paper and convinced somebody that this is the thing that has to happen. And he wasn't a big star at the time. He'd done a few movies as character parts and stuff like that, but it's his tenacity, and that's sort of what happens with Rocky as well. It's like they go from this point of like, you're trying so hard, you're trying to get there, and then he ends up making it happen, and he takes on the world at that point, and then it got produced, and then it became this Oscar-winning film that they did for $1 million or less at the point. It was sort of one of those things that never happens.
Speaking of great Sylvester Stallone movies that could be Broadway musicals, how about Rhinestone?
Rhinestone.
Featuring another person Dolly Parton.
I know.
Did you get to talking about Rhinestone at all?
6 degrees of.
Did you get to tell him that you know Dolly Parton?
The one thing she told me, she's like, don't talk to Stallone about Rhinestone.
Oh, really?
And I think the same went for Dolly. But we did. I got to work with her twice in a year. Yeah, like we're talking living the dream here, folks. It's kind of amazing who you get to work with, especially on Broadway. I'm working with Cheetah Rivera right now, and some great, Greg Edelman, all these.
Well, you were in Joyful Noise. It's a great movie, which I watched on a plane, and I cried. And I heard that movies make you cry more when you're on planes. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know if I saw it not on a plane. I don't know what.
Yeah, and 9 to 5 was
9
the
to
other
5.
thing.
Yeah, you were. What was that guy's name?
Joe. They wrote this.
You were this new guy.
Show.
You were like a new, because Alison Janney.
They wanted to give a love interest
love
for her,
interest.
so I was like, I'll do it. It was wonderful. It's a wonderful time, and now I'm working with Stephanie J. Block, who's now in Drood. This is weird.
You're very enmeshed in the world now.
I know.
You've
I'm gonna
actually
keep trying.
You were Kyle the UPS guy in
Yes.
Legally Blonde, which we all love, co-starring your wife, and ever since then you've been on a nice path.
Yeah, it's.
You did 9 to 5. You went right into Wicked.
So lucky, ridiculous.
Right into Jersey Boys, right
Yeah.
into Drood and Rocky on the side, and
It was I started the Rocky reading the day after I opened Jersey Boys, so it was like double duty craziness. But you have to do this because this is how you live the dream. This is how you work hard and you want to be available. And I certainly was like, this could never happen again. So I'm gonna give everything I have. So I think that's at least how I try to treat it, and I'll take the opportunities when I can, and feel very lucky that I have them.
Now, when I was doing my research, am I correct in saying that today's your wedding anniversary?
Today's a wedding anniversary.
Happy wedding anniversary.
Thank you. 12 years
12
today.
years.
12
Happy
years
anniversary.
today. Thank you very much.
So how's that going? What do you do?
That's all right.
What do you do for your anniversary? Anything? I know you're doing
we're not doing anything today because because work and all that
Right.
stuff. So on the weekend we're gonna go away to an undisclosed
Oh no! Oh, nice. You met when you were doing Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
She was the big diva
Yeah.
of Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah.
hitting those crazy notes that she hits.
I actually saw her in Footloose before that, and she
Okay.
was on for Rusty, that character Rusty.
Yeah,
who
yeah.
has Let's Hear for the Boy.
Yeah.
And I was, I come to New York. I was like, I'm going to see everything, and I'm really putting my time in. I just come off tour for something, and
Yeah.
I was like, screw it. I got my money from tour, and I'm gonna see as much as I can. And like one of the first things I saw was Footloose, and I saw her do it, and I was like, who's this white girl singing like that? She just blew me away. She's like, let's hear it for the boy. And I was like, all right. So I was very impressed with that, and then go to Saturday Night Fever, where I was going into the show, not the original cast, but I was like,
Yeah.
I go see it a couple times. She killed it. She tore the house down. She
Yeah.
was, and sort of being impressed by that. So immediate sort of crush that way, and then
Talent crush.
yeah, talent crush. Then on stage, we were like, flirting and all that kind of stuff happened, and like it was just sort of immediate. And then 6 months after we started dating, we got engaged, and then a month after that, we got married. And 12 years later, it feels like yesterday the whole thing happened. So it's going by so quick.
Orfeh's she's a tough chick. Like she
Yeah.
grew up in New York.
Yeah, she's got an opinion, and she'll
Yeah,
let
yeah.
you know.
So how do
She
you
was like,
make
I need a haircut today? She's like, I'm not getting a haircut today. You're getting a haircut.
So how do you make Orfeh melt?
There's certain things I can't say. There's,
Okay.
no,
Well, I'm not asking for the secrets.
there's something that I know I can make her laugh every time. She actually thinks about it, and she laughs every
okay.
time. She's having a sad scene and she needs to laugh. She
you
thinks
have a
about that
thing?
one moment. I think there's just this connection. I'm pretty chill, and I have a very long fuse as far as like temper and anything. And she's not like an angry person. I'm just like, she has an opinion, and I'm just like, well, let's sit back and let's. But there's times where it's like, you need to stand up for yourself. You have to have opinion. So I've learned so much from her about that, and she's learned, and vice versa, learned so much from me. And like let's be the calm storm sort of thing. So it's it shouldn't work, but it works really well. It's kind of like how it was supposed to be.
And how's fatherhood? I know you guys have a bunch of
Animals.
animal children.
I love that fatherhood. Yeah, I guess it is. It is like fatherhood. But I'll tell one of my friends who has kids, they're like, yeah, well, I have 3 dogs, so it's like fatherhood. And they're like, no, it's not. It's not at all like that. You can leave the house. And you can.
Right.
I was like, hey, it's your choice, man. You had the kids. But we are, there's, poop and pee involved and all that kind of stuff, and feeding them and making. But they're great. I mean, we have one of the dogs we adopted from Legally Blonde.
Boo, the famous Boo, who
yes,
got
Boo-Boo.
famously married.
He got
married last year. Nice.
And then our cat.
Speaking of cats, I missed you as the Rum Tub Tugger. I always wish I could have seen that. That was way, way before your Broadway.
I think I have a bootleg from like DC or something. I gotta find it.
That would be nice to see.
That was really good. No. I was in like the last Broadway touring production of Cats, and like there's this woman who had been on the bus tour for like 14 years. She had been there the entire time, which I was like, wow. I did like a year and 4 months or something like that, and I was doing the role, and then they were like feeding me lines of like, they're looking for somebody for Broadway, so you might just to keep me like hired.
Right.
So they, when they hired somebody else to do it, I quit. I was like, this was like my first tour job, and I thought I was the shit with like Rum Tum Tugger.
You could have been the Broadway Rum Tum Tugger. Was that the dream? The dream was
that would have been awesome.
Rum Tum Tugger
Because
on Broadway.
they did move people there, but what would have happened if I ended up doing that?
You would have done the Rum Tum Tugger.
I would have done that, and then I could have like fallen off. I could have been like a drug addict, because I'm like just heroin addict, rum tum tugger, because I feel like I'm so cool and I made it.
But the
And I
Rum Tum
wasn't ready
Tugger
for
is awesome because he gets to run out in the audience and sort of rub his fur on people in the audience. And did
You know what I do now?
It's exactly the
Jesus.
same gig.
It's a vicious circle. I think you should do like a weekly or at least a daily talk show. You should have like a band. I think you should do like this all the time with.
Are you
people
gonna write?
on
Are you gonna write the theme song?
Absolutely. I've already got Paul Wontorek, Broadway.com, special guest tonight, Patty LaPone, and John Stamos, special live musical guest, Orfeh, and the Paul Wontorek Band. And I'll be there with as a bustle fluffer hat.
So into this.
Just
You were so bugged. I'll get you a keyboard. You can stand back there.
people don't know how this room is like only 8 by 8. It looks
Yeah.
huge on.
No,
It's like I'll be by the air conditioner, which is portable, by the way. You can't officially, and by the pipes.
On that note, on the excitement of potential new reconfigurement of this entire talk show featuring Andy Karl on keyboards, this is something I'm looking forward
Bongos.
to.
I want to be a bongo.
Bongos and bongos. Okay. I'm going to let you get back to the crazy world of Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
So
me.
good to see you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.